respond to on Slack. So please do that the night before. So we did send the message, I think, early enough for have to given you like enough time to respond by the class time. Of course, unless you're a student from an international site and we send you a message in the afternoon and it's like really late at night for you. But either way, like
Shafi, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Karwan, he want to say her audio is not working, his audio, sorry. And he also want Isra can't join today because his uncle is dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the update.
Can anybody hear me?
Okay.
We can hear you, Karwan.
Yeah, hey guys, how are you? Good afternoon. Yeah, Shafi.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, hey guys, hey Dalali, Emma. Hey to all of you. Shafi, I got a call like 40 minutes ago from Isra, and it's truly unfortunate. Her uncle just passed away, and she said it is really important for me to go, and I can't join you guys today. And
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Thank you for letting me know. I'll reach out to her. Very, very sad news. This is also a really wonderful example of please just like direct message this to us before class, so we're not like working with class time for just information and news or anything. Just like send a direct message.
yeah,
And if you did and I haven't read it yet, then that is my bad. But just sending it to all four of us would mean that one of us did read it. All right?
She said she's also her uncle died really early this morning. She went to Kirkuk. Her uncle lives in another city, so it is really far from Erbil. And,
hey, Karwan, Karwan, 1 second. Okay, so the class time, no matter what announcements are made, because every personal announcement is, it's just really personal. So we can't make, we can't see like what's more important and what's less important. So every personal announcement is really important for us to know, but we also don't want to use class time for everyone. So while I really want to hear details, so perhaps we can hear more after class, or you can send us a direct message before class. So we really want to get class time started, because as some of you know from our summer course, like 1 hour is almost like not enough, right? So we have to get class started. So, and I'm not being inconsiderate or unsensitive. I just really want to make sure we're using everyone's time in a way that is valuable for everyone. So please send a direct message. This is for everyone. If a personal issue has come up, or we can stay outside of class and talk about it. All right? Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Carlos, can you please turn your video on?
All right, y'all. Thank you for bearing with us, with me organizing your thoughts. We're going to get started now, and we're going to play a game that's called Assume Out Loud. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to model it, Sheffy and I, for you all, rather than giving you like instructions. We'll just show you, and then you all will play it. Okay? So I'm going to drop something in our Zoom chat. It's a bunch of statements from all of your different coaches that are true for us. And then Sheffy is going to guess which one is true for me.
Yeah. So this is just an example. So please pay attention to like what I say and how I say it. The activity is called Assume Out Loud. Assume as an assumption. So assume out loud. So I'm going to model this. So if I am going, it's my turn to go. I am going to look at the statement that is the next statement to go. So since I'm going first, I'm going to read the first statement. It was normal for there to be a huge table full of cookies as long as an entire wall at every wedding. Okay. So between the four coaches, I have to, based on what I assume about what people have already shared on Monday and what I think I know about them, as in what assumptions I'm making about them, I have to see whose statement that is. okay? And it's okay to get it wrong. It really is. Got it? So I'm going to assume that's Delali because you grew up near State College. Okay. Then I'm going to assume that this is Emma because I know you used to live in Pittsburgh. Okay. Awesome. So everyone's going to get 2 tries just so, and then if after the second try, the person does not guess it, again, it's fine. We don't know each other well yet. So if you guess it, that's fine. If you don't, the person that statement belongs to, just say, that's me because da da da. And when you're saying because da da da, you're saying this statement is true for me because, like Emma would have said, well, yeah, that's actually me, Sheffy, because I grew up in Pittsburgh and this is something that happens in Pittsburgh. So it lets us know something about you.
And the most important thing, y'all, is it is okay to be wrong. We're going to talk about this more after we do this. So I'm going to drop some of your responses. Zoom will not let me do all of them, so we're just going to have to do it in sections. And there they are.
You want all of these sent to you through the private DM, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm just picking based on the way that I see you all on Zoom. So I'm going to start with Muhammad. The only Muhammad. Yes.
Me?
So you would say the first sentence, you'd read it out loud, and then you're going to assume, make an assumption about who that is true for.
All right, here goes. Right, here's the chat. I'll read the first one. Drinking liquor in my family is normal as long as we drink at home and it wouldn't embarrass anyone else or harm anyone. I assume that this was from Karwan because multiple times in our conversations together, I knew that he drinks alcohol or liquor. Now I should read the second statement, right? And guess again?
Nope, we're going to let Carl
No.
Should I give a response?
Is that you?
Okay.
Should I give a response? Like, is it required?
Is it you or is it
true
not?
for you?
Nope, it is not me, man. Come on.
Okay.
And that's okay.
So I should guess again on the same statement.
Actually, just for the sake of time, we're going to give you one guess. And then, so the person who it is true for, if you could just raise your hand. Right. And it just so happens, Reza, you are next. So if you could read the second statement and then make a guess.
Dude, you're busted.
Yeah. When I was in elementary school, after my class had raised a certain amount of money to reach our fundraising goal, our principal kissed a cow as our reward. Does this supposed to be just people in our community, or I mean, Penn State students too?
Yep, everybody in this Zoom call.
I don't know. That looks so American. I'm gonna choose Shalovia. I don't know.
If you think that's American, wait till mine.
So it's not mine. Can the person whose it is just raise your hand?
Actually, I knew it was Maddie. I knew it instantly.
All right. So Shahad, you're up next. So if you could read the next one.
Sorry to interrupt, Chilovia, but I can't see who's raising a hand on Zoom. Or are you doing it on camera?
You for letting me know that, actually. So what we'll do is if you could just unmute yourself for a quick second and say that was me. So that one was Maddie. All right, Shahad, you're up next. Just kidding. Never mind. Aisha, if you could go up.
I will read. It was normal for boys and girls to play together, even have. No, another one. It was normal for my friends and I to go to private schools. I guess it's Muhammad. Muhammad, is that you?
Nope, that is not me.
Actually, I don't think that he is in class now that I realize that. Can you actually do the one it was normal for boys and girls to play together? Can you make a guess for that one, Aisha?
Shahid. I guess it's Shahid.
And why are you making that guess?
Because I know Shahid, she has a boyfriend, like we are playing together in university. That's why I thought it's Shahid.
Shahad, was it you?
It was me, but I was talking about my cousins.
Oh, okay.
As a kid.
Yeah.
All right, and then Maddie, can you do that last one?
It's mean. I know very much Shahid. She's my sister.
The last one, in my family, it was normal for me to drive a car alone. I'm not really sure. Maybe Carlos or Maya?
Well, can you explain why you're guessing Carlos?
But you're muted, Maddie. Maddie, can you put some words to what assumptions that you're making that would lead you to guess Carlos?
Oh, sorry. I just I went to the bottom of my screen and then I was going from the bottom right to left. So I just kind of picked whoever I met my eye first.
Can I ask a question? Was it unusual for a lot of people to drive a car alone, or?
Well, we don't know who that was true for yet. So Carlos, was that true for you?
No, I was just gonna say it wasn't really. I didn't. No, not too true.
So who said that one?
Me. It was me.
Aisha, if you could do it in one sentence, can you respond to Jacob's question? In your community, was it not normal for people to drive alone?
Yeah. Before 6 years, I talked about before 6 years, but now it's very, very normal for girls if they driving a car alone. Yeah.
All right. Felix, you are up next. I just posted a new set. Just kidding. Victor, you're up next.
It was normal for us to go to rivers to chill and cook, just like if they were beaches. So now I'm taking a guess, right? Or making an assumption. By process of elimination, I'm assuming Mohammed? Oh, because because he hasn't had one yet, and I don't know. I don't have many reasons to back that assumption up. That's why it's an assumption. Mohammed, is it true?
Sorry to disappoint you, Victor, but it ain't me.
Who was it?
Hey, just wait 1 second. Can you guys hear me? Okay, just 1 second. So as we continue this activity, let's also assume that when we make assumptions, it's because we have a gut feeling about something. So like, not asking you to like back up your assumptions with like things that you know, but just like there's a reason besides process of elimination that you might be thinking maybe this statement belongs to this person. All right.
So it's
Victor,
a practice of intuition.
Yeah. So Victor, go guess once more, but say, I'm assuming it's this person because, like, we have to know the because. That's important for this activity.
Okay. Let me try again. I'm assuming that it was normal for Felix to go to rivers to chill and to cook, just like if they were beaches. Because I have a gut feeling.
That is true.
Awesome.
All right, Felix, you're up next.
I never like to honk the horn while I am driving because I know that it might disturb other people. Oh, I forgot. And I assume it is Emma because I don't think people honk the horn a lot in the United States, and because he hasn't gone yet.
So it's not Emma. Who was it?
Wait, did he guess twice? Can you guess once more?
Then I'm guessing it's Carlos.
Because, and also we have to start to practice to say this. Ready? I'm assuming it's Carlos because.
I'm assuming Carlos. I guess I don't have a reason, but because he's also from here.
From where?
The United States, I guess.
Okay, so you think that statement belongs to someone in the United States? That's what you're assuming. Okay, so it's that great, because it's as simple as that, because you can literally be like, this is my simple assumption. Okay, so Carlos, is that you?
No, it wasn't me.
Who was it? No one? Oh, she's not in class. It was Isra. So y'all, we all got the Zoom notification. We are working diligently to figure out what's going on with it. Yeah. So
Emma, can you try to work with Joy or JD and work on that so we can continue here? Thank you. Okay. So since Isra's not here, let's start with somebody else who hasn't gone yet. Like who hasn't, let's start with Jacob, perhaps. So Jacob, can you read the next statement, please?
Yeah. For my family, it was normal for girls or women to post on social media, though we faced a lot of criticism from others. I assume I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Shahad, is that right?
It's Chad. You got it right.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I assume it is Shahad because I have a gut feeling and I don't believe you had one yet claimed to you.
No. Okay, we are not gonna. Gut feeling is not.
Oh, we're not doing gut feeling. Okay.
Gut feeling is not literally a reason. Like, just why is she your gut feeling? Like, explain it a little bit, because I know you're making an assumption based off of something.
I assume it is Shahad because based on the context of exactly what was said, it seems like it was a girl because it says for girls or women to post on social media, though we. So that definitely slims it down to the women for me. And then I don't believe you had one yet. So I think that it was
What's an
Shahad.
assumption, Jacob? I'm gonna just stretch you a little bit. What's an assumption that you actually are making, but you're not saying it out loud right now? I feel like Shahad knows what assumption you're making.
I'm assuming it is one of the women.
Shahad, what assumption do you think he's making when he's saying that it could be you?
I mean, I guess he's making an assumption based on my community and how they treat women and men. But unfortunately, you guessed wrong.
Okay.
Y'all, the purpose of this is to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we know that this is like, everyone in society tells you not to do this. It's okay to do it in this class, okay?
Okay.
So who was it?
Who was it?
It was me. Yeah, guilty. Dude, I have a really bad poker face. Like, my face was like, dude, this one is... yeah.
You threw me off. You threw me off because you said it was normal for girls or women, and then you said we, so I automatically cut guys out of it. Threw me off.
Yeah, let me check my Slack, the one that I sent to Chaluvia. It was...
Yeah, if you... Wait, hold on, come on. If anybody sent a paragraph, we try to take a sentence out. That's okay. So Jacob, what did you have an inherent assumption that this has to be somebody that wasn't in the United States? Like, that has to be a culture that is from one of the international flags?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely wasn't a U.S. culture because I feel like that's something that's just simply not true in the United States culture.
Okay. All right.
So those are my two assumptions.
Okay, so exactly. So this is a great example that he had an assumption that had nothing to do with a gut feeling. He was basing it off of preconceived information. So like, gut feeling is not a response, but our gut feeling gets us to make an assumption because of preconceived information. All right. So Karvan, you get to go next.
Yeah, it was normal in my family, but not normal for others, was the fact that the boys of my house, my brothers and I, were not still are not allowed to wear accessories, necklace, rings, and amulets. I assume it is Jacob.
You assumed wrong.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Why did you assume it was Jacob?
Well, in my opinion, it is my opinion, white families in U.S. are a bit more conservative than the other families. So Jacob seems to be the right option. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
okay.
Yeah.
So
I think you were wrong, so pick someone else.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Okay, I thought they have two guesses, so can you try one more person? Who else do you think it could be?
Well, dude, Emma, I think, I don't know.
Are you still
No.
going with the assumption that it has to be someone white?
No, no, no. Really sorry, but when I said Jacob, Emma's face expression was kind of surprising, and I don't know. I kind of thought she was the one. So now maybe it is Maya. I don't know. Damn, wrong. So, hello.
Yeah,
All right.
okay. So who was it? He guessed twice.
All
Who
right,
was it?
I am going to cut you off. For whatever reason, we can't figure out why the Zoom call is about to end. When it does end, though, if you all could just rejoin, that would be great.
Okay, just rejoin the same link. Perfect.
See
So
you.
wait, who was that?
Dude, I want to know.
It was me. Yeah, there's a whole story about that I'd like to tell, but not now.
Dude, I really thought you were picked, like, literally.
I thought about Muhammad. It's Muhammad,
Okay.
I know.
Hey, so for everyone, can we please stop thinking about who's been picked or not? Like, that's getting in the way of the activity, so to actually take away from it. So
And
let's stop with the process
Shafi,
of elimination.
yeah, and Muhammad is as white as he gets. So it is kind of true.
Okay, wow. That was a cool moment. So you assumed it was someone from an American white family, and it ended up being Muhammad.
Actually, not to be insensitive, but from when I was growing up watching American movies and things like that, like based on that, I made the assumption. So
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you for taking the risk to say that assumption out loud. So shall we all exit and come back? We're sorry about this disruption.
no, it's okay.
Not a problem. I'll see you in a second.
Okay.
Hello again.
Yep, hello again.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Dude, can anybody hear me?
Yes, Caroline.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so has everyone gone?
No, everyone hasn't gone, but I don't think we have time because Taylor's going to come too.
Okay. So everyone has not gone, and that's okay for now. We're again really deeply sorry about the Zoom. Our operations team is working on it.
Mm-hmm. We're still waiting for 4 more people, just so you know.
Okay, that was my next question. Is everybody back? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Victor is here. We need Jacob, and we need, who else do we need?
I'm here.
Oh, there's Jacob. Hey, Jacob.
Hey.
Is everyone here?
No, Aishan is not
Yeah,
here.
We're missing 3
Yes.
or maybe 1.
I think 3. We had 16 before.
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
Let me
Okay.
message Aishan.
Like Karwan, she'll be back. Like I really just want you to just be here, just focus. She'll be back. There she is. She will be back. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So, an important part of this class is going to be unlearning, as well as you're learning new practices and the mindset piece that we were talking about on Monday. So the first thing, we're going to ask you to unlearn. Unlearn as in like unlearn the socialization that you've been given your entire life. So undo that. is your relationship with making assumptions. So this is the first piece of the mindset that we want to start practicing. So, I mean, okay, so somebody answer this question for me. What have you been taught about assuming? What's something that you've heard growing up whenever it's time to assume?
Well, assuming.
Come on, quick.
Yeah, assuming is when you have to choose something, and whether it's a gut feeling or a indication that you feel or see about something that it is right, you assume it is that, you choose it.
Okay.
Carlos,
What else? What else?
I saw you smile right as Sheffy was like, what's something that you've learned about assuming?
My freshman year roommate had this like little like thing he always used to say. But he always used to say it. It was assuming makes a butt out of you and me. But it's like, yeah.
But it's the other word, and we don't have to say that word out loud. Yeah, I mean, so that is something that we've, I think, no, in either culture, in all cultures, there is something that's inherent about being socialized to stop making assumptions. And the thing is, we, as human beings, we actually never stop making assumptions. We just start keeping them inside our heads. So that what happens is that assumptions then, instead of assumptions getting the opportunity to be questioned, assumptions then become conclusive beliefs in our minds because we never get the chance to say them out loud and practice questioning them. So in this class, one of the first mindset pieces that we're going to try to start practicing and being okay is assume out loud. It is a very important part of the facilitator's work during a dialogue to be able to make assumptions out loud, because what you're doing as a facilitator is then you're being transparent with your thought process. So that's why it was really important to say, I'm assuming that this statement belongs to this person because I think the statement might be from not a US culture, like because we're all smart people. So one thing that we're going to assume as your trainers is that you're all intelligent people. It's actually one of the 4 assumptions that guide our facilitation. It's assumed that people are always thinking and connecting the dots. That is an assumption that we're making all the time because it's true. Everyone here is always making assumptions. A facilitator makes the assumptions out loud in a dialogue. So again, see what I'm saying? I'm saying in a dialogue. We're also going to understand that what we learn and teach in this class isn't always for all settings. We're really here to learn how to facilitate a small group dialogue. So during the dialogue, a facilitator assumes out loud. So some clarifying questions or some responses to what I've said before I just say more things. What are you hearing from me?
So I'd like to ask a question. Maybe it's ahead of this session, but I'll give it a shot, no problem. When I was facilitating in the previous days, before we start again, I received something from JD talking about opinionated questions or opinion-guided questions.
So that's
my
so
question
you're going a little bit ahead. So maybe say that for me. So
Okay.
Mohammed, you have a little bit more information or experience because of how long you've been working with us. So,
All right.
but so once we get to
I do have another thing to add also regarding assumptions is that much of the assumptions we made are based into the window we are given into the speaker's world, basically.
Exactly. And we're going to debrief, so you're going to get to talk more, but one just important thing to leave you with is when assumptions stay internal, as in when assumptions don't get the opportunity to be questioned, then they become stereotypes, which leads to putting people in boxes and beliefs because that's all that there is. The assumption never has a chance to be questioned. Okay? All right. So,
yeah, we want to hear some of your thoughts. What was it like making an assumption out loud? I'm thinking about Victor, thinking about, Karwan made an explicit assumption out loud. Anyone who did that, what was it like saying that out loud?
Uncomfortable at first.
What made it uncomfortable, Jacob? Also, could you turn your camera down just a tiny bit? Because
I'm
see your
sorry.
eyebrows. I know it's all good.
My bad.
Great eyebrows.
Thank you. I guess it was just uncomfortable because I feel like there's kind of a unwritten rule about what can and should be talked about and what cannot and should not be talked about. And I feel like sometimes when you make assumptions like this, you make these assumptions. They're assumptions for a reason. A lot of times, like Chevy was talking about, assumptions stay internal, and obviously that's when they become stereotypes. So I feel like a lot of the time these assumptions stay internal specifically because it's something that like is uncomfortable to talk about. Like you shouldn't always talk about it. So I think just outwardly saying any sort of assumption really and explaining that's why you made this assumption kind of just feels unusual. And that could be completely cultural, but that's definitely how I feel.
Yeah. It's good recognizing that.
Maya, I'm also curious to know what you thought when we first introduced this activity. What were your reactions?
And Maya, go ahead. I was just gonna say it doesn't have to be for Jake.
I kind of like saw where we were going because like I grew up in a very like blended family, so like there's a lot of stereotypes about my family in general. So like I don't know, I kind of expected stereotypes to be said, and even like I had them like when people were reading statements, I was like taking my guesses, which were like based off of completely different stereotypes or assumptions that were still wrong. So like I don't know, I guess even though I didn't get to go, I still like assumed wrong based on like past experience, I guess.
Can you just put some words for the group? What do you mean by blended family, and how did that like translate into what you were seeing?
Okay, so I didn't get to go, but I have 10 siblings, and then I also have step siblings in there. So growing up, I always had like a lot of people around, or like just a lot of like there's just always a bunch of stuff to do, and like I always say I have 2 dads and I have 2 moms, and like so I have like 8 grandparents, and so like I take like a week for like different not vacations, like holidays, like Christmas has to be like a week long because we have to go to like so many different houses. And it's like I'm like biracial, but like my little siblings are like fully black. So it's like we just get looked at a lot. Like there's a lot of us, like if we're all together, like I became an aunt at like 11. I have like 10 nieces and nephews now too. So it's just like there's a lot to look at, and I don't really know what people assume because I know a lot of people assume that, and like I grew up in a pretty like good community, but I feel like lower income families tend to like get stereotyped, like especially black families, that like if there's a lot of kids they're just like poor, which like in my case like wasn't true. Like we went on family vacations with like everybody, and like so I think that's like a big stereotype. Or even like when people found out I'm going to Penn State, they're like, wait, really? Like because it's like a really expensive school, but like yeah.
Thanks for that, Maya. Thanks for that glimpse into your thought process and your worlds.
When we were about to start the game, I was like, ooh, this is a bad idea. This is going to be trouble. We're going to be making assumptions out loud. This is going to get messy. And then I think it was like Maddie's quote that was like, when we were kids, like we passed the fundraising goal and our principal like kissed a cow. And I made like the internal assumption like, oh, this was definitely in America because that's a very like American high school principal thing to do. And then I think it was Razar who was like guessing, and he like made that same assumption out loud, like, oh, I think this was like an American thing because it seems like an American thing to do. So then I was able to kind of like see the purpose of the activity and realize like, oh yeah, some of the same assumptions that I'm making that are like internal and are like stereotypes are also, you know, shared amongst other people, and that's how like stereotypes are created. But once we share them out loud, then we can like connect the dots and then like notice the patterns. So it turned out to be a cool activity.
Thanks for giving us like your immediate reaction, especially to our activity and what that was like to kind of like internalize and notice what it was like to make assumptions and what was happening inside yourself. I'm curious to know about others. What were some things that you were like noticing about yourself when you were making assumptions during this activity?
I was reviewing the conversations I had with people and who mentioned liquor and who did not mention liquor, basically.
How about someone who had no prior interaction with anyone else in this class? Like, what was that like? What were you noticing about yourself when you were making these assumptions?
I think it was hard making these assumptions because other than like Hamid and like Colin, the people on my side, like those guys I knew. But on the other side, like the Penn State students, I was like, how am I gonna assume stuff about people that I don't know? So yeah, I think I immediately went to the mindset of stereotypes and like what is considered as American or something like that. And yeah, like even like during the game, I didn't go, but I just like did like Maya did and just like assumed with the other people, and I was completely wrong at times. Sometimes I wasn't, which is surprising. But yeah, I guess we all just go like the easy route, I guess, and like pick stereotypes to make like form our opinions. I think that's like what I think.
I think Felix was going to say something.
For me, it was kind of fun. I knew already what we were gonna do when I saw the question in the chat. I am the type of person that I don't like to make assumptions because I don't know, maybe because I took the class a long time ago, and I don't know, it doesn't go with me to make assumptions, but everybody does it, whether you want it or not. So when the game started, I didn't want to like think of stereotypes because any of those things could be like act like really anybody, because I guess when we stereotype we forget that we're all people and it doesn't matter where we're from, we're all doing different things that nobody expects. So I don't know, it was a expected, but at the end it was fun, so that's what I thought.
Felix, could you just say something, because I think we've all been kind of alluding to there being this danger with making assumptions, but I wanted to know for you, what is that in your usual life you stray away from making assumptions or avoid them? Like, what are the consequences or dangers of making assumptions that you see?
I guess the consequences would be like you being wrong, which most of the time you are. So let's say like when I came to the United States, I thought like a lot of different things, and I expected like different things. But when you make assumptions, you can be disappointed most of the times, and you could also like be offending people, and also you could be like offended without even noticing it. So that's something pretty cool. I mean, interesting, I would say.
And I have such a gut response to you, Felix. This is for everyone. Just the main distinguishing factor between like we're always making assumptions. Like for example, like if there's gray clouds, I'm gonna assume it's gonna rain. So what we're talking about is making assumptions out loud, right? Because really we're all intelligent people. We're always making assumptions about things. So I just want to make that distinct factor. We're talking about making assumptions out loud, not the fact that whether we are or not, because we always are.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question regarding that. When you say making assumptions out loud, do you mean our assumptions or the assumptions that come from the conversations that people are having? So like what you think people are assuming or what everybody...
No, your assumption. your own assumptions. So again, this is for a 90-minute facilitated dialogue setting, right? So that's the house we're building is a facilitated dialogue. So whatever we say here is, while it could be used in life, other places, but we're really getting you ready for a dialogue to facilitate. So your assumptions out loud.
Yeah. So we say that facilitators make their assumptions explicit and encourage their participants to do the same. Because we're talking about dialogue right now, we're just saying start to notice, just notice the assumptions that you're making as you move throughout the social world. Doesn't mean you have to say them out loud like we did in this activity all the time, but just start to notice what they are, because it'll really help you develop your mindset when you do go into dialogue.
Emma, could you explain what do you mean by noticing them? Because I feel like there's more to noticing our assumptions.
Mm-hmm. I truly mean just rather than doing what you normally do, rather than just keeping them inside and either, just assuming they're true, holding them as the truth, or pushing them aside, just really pay attention to it. Just allow your mind to settle there for a second and say, this is what I'm assuming right now.
And to further supplement that, imagine like for people that drive, people that do drive, like I'm at the point of driving after 2 decades where I just like, if I see a red light, my brain just knows to stop. Like I'm not thinking about stopping. Like, you get to a point where like you see a stop sign, you just stop. That's kind of like assumptions. Like assumptions kind of are like driving that way. Like they just come up. Like, so what we're saying is imagine driving, start to be like, oh, I see a red light. That's why I'm stopping. Like just like that. Oh, wow. I just made that assumption while I was talking to this person. Just start to recognize the action when you're doing it. So look, whenever you get confused, think about driving as in like, oh, stop sign, I'm going to stop. Like just the thought process is explicit in your head. We're not asking you to like do it out loud, but start to notice your actions inside your head.
So in other words, to examine our assumptions, think about them, right?
Yeah, just think about them. Just be like, oh, wow, that was an assumption I made. Just like, oh, wow, like that was a yellow light that I just ran. Just like start to notice your assumptions.
I see. Thank you, guys.
I am going to transition us very, very quickly. I just want to share my screen for a little bit and show you all the home base, where to find your syllabus, how to find your syllabus, okay?
If we have time after the session, sorry to interrupt you, Lovia, but can I ask a few questions about the syllabus?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so remember, you all have a home base. All of you should be registered for this class now. So if you are a Penn State student, you should be able to find this on Canvas. If you're not a Penn State student, you can always find it by going to worldinconversation.org/foundations. When you get to this page, the password is 20FA, so 20FA, all lowercase. And this is your beautiful home base. It has literally everything that you need to be successful as a facilitator and in this class. One of the most important things is your syllabus, which is right there. And it's really, really important that you take time and you read this. We are going to have Taylor join us and talk to some specifics of the syllabus. But remember, when you are taking a class, your syllabus is the contract that you are using between us, right, the people offering the class, and you. So if there's something in here that you don't know, it is really, really important to go through, read, ask any questions, and make sure that you understand this contract, right? Because we don't want to get to the point halfway through the semester where you're like, I didn't know, or something along those lines, because you should know.
Just if anyone's not muted right now, who's not talking, can you just mute your mic?
Sorry.
All right.
So while that is the syllabus, we just have like 3 sentences. Well, we expect you to read your contract for the class, like Julia said. And it's not one of those sprint contracts where you just accept the terms. Like, we really need you to read and accept the terms. And okay, so we're just gonna go and ahead and like say a couple bullet points that just need to stand out. Chloe, you want to go for it? I know it says me. I'm like, I've been talking for a while. I've been saying too many things.
Absolutely. Okay, so something that you're going to see in your syllabus is basically welcome to the world of applied sociology, right? You had a little taste of it during that first activity, and this is what we are going to be doing. We're going to be thinking sociologically. We're going to be breaking down communication patterns that we already have so that we can directly impact the social world.
So this activity that we just did is applied sociology. So you're not just learning theory in this class, we are practicing what we're learning in our sociological world, all right? And then one of the main objectives will be for you to understand the role of a facilitator in balancing patterns of communication and social relationships, especially ones that are out of balance. Again, this is one of those sentences that we just said, like we said a sentence on Monday, I'm like, that should not make sense to you right now, and that's okay. We're gonna get to a place at the end of the semester where if you read that sentence out loud again, and we will, it will make sense to you. You'll understand it because you will have been practicing it. All right, well, our Taylor is here. Hi, Taylor. And if you also see there, Dana Jane is also here. DJ, she is our assistant director for the center. So we have two very important people here. And there's Taylor. There's Taylor. It's all you ladies.
Cool. Well, first, I just like to say I like that you call me our Taylor. I think that's so lovely. But yeah, I'm Taylor. DJ, do you want to just introduce yourself since, I guess, are you going to stay for the whole 15 minutes, Deej, or?
Yeah, I was just going to stay and you just pick up, you go for it, and then if there's a moment at the end, otherwise I'll just come back next week too.
Oh, okay. Lovely. Love that. Cool. Well then, ladies, where should I start? Just dialogue and points and things like that?
Yeah, we have not gone over any points or anything logistical in that way.
Okay, well, I actually think I want to start with the schedule. So I actually want to play a little game. So if everyone could turn their cameras off, that'd be great. Fantastic. Now, if you have 8 a.m.s or 9 a.m.s throughout the week, please turn your camera on.
Could you repeat that, please?
If you have 8 a.m.s or 9 a.m.s throughout the week, turn your camera on.
Since for other international sites, this will not apply to you in the same way.
Yes, I apologize for that. Thank you, Emma. Okay, cool. Now, if it's mandatory that you be in those classes, keep your camera on. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's awesome because I asked you all. Okay, you can all turn your cameras back on. Sorry. I just need to see numbers really quickly. So part of this course is facilitating dialogues, right? And part of that means facilitating global dialogues that just so happen to be mostly in the mornings. And when I asked for availability, very few of you filled out the 7 and 8 a.m. time slots. I'm just going to ask again that you revisit that availability sheet and mark that you are available because I now see that it is true.
Well, I don't have 8 a.m.s or 9 a.m.s every day, but I work in the morning 3 days a week.
Cool. So you would be an exception. But for others, just know that like facilitating globals is part of this work. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be scheduled to facilitate a global every single day. They're just there honestly aren't even that many spots, that many facilitation spots for that to happen. So just please fill out the availability sheet truthfully and honestly. The more availability you give me, the more flexibility I have with your schedules, the more people you get to work with, the more dialogues you get to experience. So yeah, so please fill it out. I'll leave it open for another week or two. Just revisit it. Muhammad, if you could just wait until like 10 minutes and then I'll take questions at the end. That'd be great. So yeah, so now that we have that covered, so your schedule will come out every Wednesday evening for the next week. So you all don't actually start dialogues until September 7th. So that's about a week and a half from now, which means you will get your schedule for that week next Wednesday. Does that make sense? And that means that, so I will try and I will schedule you within your availability, within the spaces that you tell me that you can facilitate. And I understand that things come up, things happen. And so if you marked that, typically on Mondays you're available at like 2 or whatever, and then you're realizing actually next Monday I have this conference that I have to go to and I already committed to it, you would need to let me know by this Sunday so that I can get the schedule out on Wednesday. And that's throughout the semester. So if you need to request a day off, please get that in the Sunday before the schedule goes out. Cool. And then with that being said, I think that that's just like a good place to go into the syllabus. Have you all had a chance to look at it? I assume you have. I assume you've lived it, you've breathed it, you've really internalized it. So if you are looking at the syllabus and you'll find that there are deductions for dialogue. Now, the way dialogue works is you all start with all the possible points that you could possibly have for dialogue. And if you show up when you're scheduled and if you show up on time, then you don't even have to worry about deductions, honestly. And in cases where you don't get a request in, but you can find a switch, again, no deductions, and it's a really great time, and it makes everyone's life easier. But in the case that you do find yourself missing a dialogue, here are a few things to know. So you will all facilitate an average close to about 40 hours of dialogue throughout the semester. So that's like give or take. So maybe you come out of the semester and you facilitate at 38, maybe you facilitate at 41, but it'll all be relatively within that 40 range. And if you fail to meet that average for whatever reason, know that you will lose 5 points on your final grade. If you fail to show up to a dialogue without letting me know, you will lose 6 points for that dialogue. And I know that points seems like a little bit, but also know that like this class runs off of 100 points total. So if you lose 6 points, you're losing 6% of your grade. If you do a no-show, but you let me know like 3 hours before, it'll be minus 3 points. And if you let me know, like within the hour of the dialogue, it's gonna be 4 points. Why is that? It's because if you don't show up, now we have to like scramble to find another facilitator to fill that spot. Your co isn't ready to facilitate alone. It's just, it creates a bit of an inconvenience. But ultimately, you're not getting the facilitation practice that you would want to get from this class. And there's no way to make up a dialogue. There's no way to experience a dialogue that you haven't been in. You can watch the recording, but it's just not the same. So for that reason, that's why the deductions are what they are. If you do a day of replacement, so let's say you can't make it, but you find someone to cover you, but you can't switch with them within the week, that would be minus 2 points. And if you're late, which means you show up to the dialogue after you're scheduled to be there, it's -1 point. If you show up more than 10 minutes late, so at that point the dialogue has started, people are getting into the groove, rapport is being built. If you show up past 10 minutes, it'll count as a no-show. So you will lose 6 points. And if you're someone who picks up a group, you're someone who picks up, maybe we throw out a bonus group, or someone needs a cover. If you pick that up, you get +1 point. So there's a bright side to all of this. Any questions so far?
Yeah, may I ask
I
a
have a
question?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank
Someone.
you. Thank you. I'm Kadwan. Hey, Taylor, how are you? Well, I have more than one question, if it is possible. First of all, I got an email from you, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago. I got the same email from Joy. It is about the calendar. So it is the same calendar or a different calendar? Should we install it or just leave it?
It's the same calendar, but you might have been removed and then added again. So just make sure that you can still see it.
Okay, okay.
And you can still add it to it.
And about the dialogues. So if we don't show up, it is 6 grace deduction. But
Yes.
as you know, for our participants, so those who participate in the dialogues this year, so it is basically me, Razar, and Aishan, but Muhammad and Muhammad and Shad used to participate last year. So this year's participants, so they all do facilitation about one subject, one specific subject. So it is the same for all of us. So it won't be that hard to miss a dialogue. So it is okay. Is it okay if we made a group? So if one of us gets late or he can't show up, another takes his place?
Yes, so you should all be added to a Slack channel for dialogue switching. What is it called? Facilitation scheduling?
Because
there's one for global scheduling, I think. So that's where
that's for
they would
IS.
do.
yeah, as you know, you can't predict anything in your daily life. So you might face something and you can't show up on your meeting or anything like that. So it would be really great if we will create a group amongst ourselves, and we'll message you.
Wait, Karvan, hold on. There is a group already created. So instead of this happening in the background, we would like to know what's happening, like what kind of switches are being made. So please do this on Slack, not like in an invisible platform. So no WhatsApp. So for this class, we're using Slack, unless I'm communicating on WhatsApp for something like very different or specific. And then another thing, so the syllabus has two different words. One is a switch, one is a cover. So those are two very important words to understand. And I'll let Taylor explain a little bit more. But global scheduling, everyone from our IS sites has been added. So say any communication that needs to happen about being late, switching, etc., please do it on Slack.
So is there any specific channel on Slack right now? If we face any problems, should we DM anybody? Like right now we're on 3 groups: General, Foundation Team 20 FA, Foundation Global Dialogues 20 FA, Foundation Section 604 20 FA, in general.
So if you are looking to switch or find someone to cover your dialogue, you want to ask your peers in the foundation's global scheduling. That's where you would do that. And then you want to make sure that you email me. So Taylor J at worldandconversation.org. You would email me, and I can put that in your channel just so you don't forget. But you would email me and let me know that you made that switch or that you made that cover so that we can keep track of it throughout the semester. And so for domestic or local students, you would be using the Foundation Scheduling 20 FA channel in Slack.
Yeah, but it would be really great if you answer us. I emailed you yesterday, but you haven't replied yet. So.
I have not checked my emails this morning. You guys are first on my docket, so.
Speaking of Slack, Taylor, you weren't here, but I told them I wasn't at the first meeting because my Zoom link just refused to work for like 20, 25, 30 minutes. But because of that, I don't have Slack set up. I have downloaded everything, but I haven't had the chance to set it up yet. So
Chalovia could help you with that and getting set up on Slack. So if there are things like getting set up on Slack, questions about your class, so this training class, those questions would go to your trainers. If you have a question about your actual dialogue schedules or the calendar, those questions would go to me.
Hi, Taylor. I hope you're doing well.
Hi.
I want to ask you about the availability chart. I replied to your email on, can't really remember the date. Oh, the 19th of August.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that I'm available on all the times except 3 times. Mondays, 7:45 a.m. till 9:45 a.m. Tuesdays, 9:45 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. And Wednesdays, 7:45 a.m. to 9:45 a.m.
Yep.
So where can I find the availability chart that I am in and also my peers in as well?
So wait, one sec, Taylor. I don't. I'm interrupting because we might get kicked out. So if we get kicked out, please just join the link again. And class is ended. So unless you have other questions specifically, like Mohammed has about his personal schedule, then please come back. So, but if you have to go because class is over, you may go.
Thank you, Shafi.
Thank you.
Thanks for a good class.
And come back in general.
Bye, guys.
Just rejoin the same one if you have a question.
Yep.
Hey, good to see
All right.
everybody again.
So Mohammed, let's finish up your question, and then maybe Jacob and Chalovia can be setting up Slack.
I have the same question.
All right. Then about the questions of the syllabus, I'll contact you guys later. But right now, I just want to find more information about my availability chart. Is Taylor here?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Hi. It's okay.
I do have your information down, Mohammed. I have your availability in a chart that I'm using to create the schedule. And I don't have one set up for IS students to see each other's availability, but I can do that for you. And then that way you know exactly who to reach out to for a cover.
So it's all right for us. We have our availability chart, quote unquote, already checked, right?
Yeah. So IS students, you all emailed me already and you told me which times you can and can't facilitate. So I've taken those emails and I've put them in a separate document.
I haven't emailed you yet about my availability schedule. Should I do it right now?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, but can you send me an
I
email
will,
about the
yeah,
dates?
I will send you the times.
Yeah, that would
Perhaps
be really
I'd
great. That would be really good. That would be really great.
Actually, I have one concern about the schedule because right now in Iraq, in general, like uni hasn't started yet, so we don't really know our own class schedule. So like
I'm fine
until
with me.
then,
Just leave me out of the equation.
I mean, yeah, because your classes don't run late, but mine, like this year, I think will run late. So until university start, I'm available at any time. But when university starts, I don't know because I really don't know my schedule.
Yeah. So for now,
Same to me. Yeah.
Okay, so for now, I will just mark that you are available at all times when we're having those global dialogues. And when you do figure out your schedule or when it does change, then you can email me and let me know.
Great, great. Thank you.
Actually, for me, the latest
Okay.
time, the latest schedules would be really fine for me. Not
Okay.
early, I mean, by latest means,
Okay. Karwan, I'm going to send you the times for the global dialogues, and then you can just let me know.
thank you.
That's like not
That would
enough
be great.
info.
Thanks so much, Taylor. Thank you, Sheffy, Emma, Chilovia, and
Yeah, thank you
Delali.
guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Wait,
Take
Absolutely.
care.
hold
Was
on.
there a question?
Can I ask another one?
I'll
Yeah.
contact you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I was just gonna ask. So I got on the Google Calendar and I filled out the schedule, right? But I see nothing there. Is that you guys just didn't get to it right yet?
Yeah, so your dialogues don't start for another week and a half. So until September 7th, until next Monday, you're not going to see anything.
Oh,
Well,
okay, for sure.
Wednesday, when you'll start to see.
I want to add one thing. Yeah, for students in Iraq, they most of them faced this problem. Well, most of us on our phones and laptops, we have more than one Google account. So when you add your calendar, so it basically sometimes go to another account. So this mistakes happens. And make sure you add it to your account. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, and make sure that you add it on a laptop or desktop first, and then you can see it on your phone. I don't know why Google Calendar is just like that. So, yeah.
Okay, bet. Thanks for the tips, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
It was a pleasure,
That's
guys.
nice
Take
talking
care.
to you guys.
Same here for
Bye.
next week.
Have a nice.
Yeah, bye.
Have
Have
a
a good weekend.
Bye,
Stay safe.
everyone.
Bye.